Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series, where I rank every episode of the original Twilight Zone from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to talk about number 101 on the list, The Fever, written by Rod Serling and directed by Robert Florey. This is a season 1 episode, and as always there will be episode spoilers. So this episode's about a man named Franklin, played by Everett Sloane, who doesn't like gambling too much. He's on a trip with his wife, but things change when he becomes obsessed with a slot machine. Now, The Fever is a fairly entertaining and memorable Twilight Zone episode. The ending gets a little weird and doesn't totally work for me. It gets a bit strange and far out there, but overall I do think this is an episode worth a watch. So, Franklin and his wife are on a trip that she's won, and Franklin complains about pretty much everything. And he gets really mad when his wife tries to gamble. He says it's a waste of time and money, things like that. But eventually Franklin accidentally wins some money when he wasn't even trying to gamble. This causes Franklin to really have some problems. He's very conflicted about this. He starts hearing the slot machine actually call his name, which is absolutely hilarious in my opinion. I think it's supposed to be very serious, but it's done in kind of a campy way, which really worked for me. So eventually this guy just, he keeps gambling on this slot machine and losing money to the point where he becomes obsessed. Even his wife can't really stop him. And I gotta say, this guy Franklin is really mean to her, his wife in this episode. I did feel bad for her. So eventually Franklin runs out of money. He claims that the slot machine took his last coin, which to be fair, it did, and that it's conspiring against him and it's not working on purpose. This is all pretty entertaining, watching this crabby, unlikable character kind of lose it slowly, and I'm really into this episode, and then things get really weird. So Franklin actually, besides hearing the slot machine call his name, sees the slot machine alive coming towards him until he basically falls out the window, which is something that's happened before on Twilight Zone. Now, while this is kind of interesting to watch, it's a little bit too over the top for my liking, and the part of Franklin falling out the window isn't really convincing at all. I thought they could have done a lot better job with this part of the episode. And then the last scene where the slot machine is smiling is just a little too silly for me. I will say, to be fair though, it is kind of cool how the slot machine gives Franklin his last coin back. That I thought was interesting. So overall, The Fever is a good episode. It's pretty fast-paced with an interesting concept about how you can get addicted to something, but the ending was just a bit too over the top for me. Still, this is an entertaining episode to watch, so I think it's, kind of a slightly above average episode, but definitely not in the greater classic range, and that's why The Fever is number 101 on the list for me. As always, feel free to leave a comment on this episode, The Fever, if you liked it or not. Thanks for your continued support, and thanks for watching.